What's up, guys? We're in the car. I am cleared to drive locally. And even before I was cleared, I jumped in the car like twice. But it was like legit, like 2-3 blocks from my house. 15 miles an hour, driving with my little T-Rex arms, okay? I don't know. I just felt like just talking about the weirdness of cancer. I had mentioned this to my husband yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit of a tough day for me because a lot just weighs on your mind when you're in recovery. Can't really do much. Resting a lot. You can't really go to work. So you're like idle a lot. You're idle. And when your mind is idle, that's when all the craziness starts to creep in and all the stress and whatnot. And so one of the thoughts that I've been battling in my mind is like just the weirdness of cancer, the absolute backwardness, weirdness of cancer. What do I mean? So I had a conversation with my husband, of course, and like full-on tears, sobbing type of conversation. And I appreciate my husband for being my rock and listening to me and talking me down from the ledge. And I was telling him that what's weird about this whole process is like, so I got diagnosed in October, right? I'm told, okay, you have cancer, invasive cancer, right? It's spreading, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel fine, like I was asymptomatic. I mean, in hindsight, I think there was one symptom. And this is a symptom of a cancer I did not realize I had until after surgery. What do I mean? So, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I'm wearing the same shirt. I've been wearing the same clothes over and over again, y'all. It is what it is. So, they're clean. I just wear them over and over again. So, sorry, I got boogers. So, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, and that was it. That's what was found on the MRI. That's what was found in the biopsy. That's what was found in the initial ultrasounds. Okay, invasive ductal carcinoma. It was at 2 o'clock, left breast, 12-ish centimeters from the nipple. Okay. So they went in. Of course, I chose double mastectomy, bilateral mastectomy, and said, it's all or nothing. Let's just take it all off. So in them taking everything out, they have to test all the tissue. And in them doing that, they found 2 more cancers. And these 2 cancers were not invasive. They were still, formed in their little pocket of cells. And that's scary because had I done a lumpectomy, those 2 cancers would have continued to grow and then they would have become invasive. But of those 2 cancers, one of them was lobular. So you've got lobules and you've got ducts. And so don't ask me to explain that further. Go do your research. But lobular cancer is tricky in that it doesn't clump up, right? So you got ductal carcinomas that the cells start to clump up. Hence you get that like round lump that is palpable or visible depending on how big it is or how close to the skin it is. So lobular cancer, it tends to like grow like sideways, and I believe it's because it's missing a protein called like cadherin, something like that. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but there's a particular protein that is missing in that type of cancer, and because it's missing, that those cancer cells don't clump up. They kind of they line up like side by side and they start to kind of spread this way. So they're hard to see. They're hard to detect on imaging. Some of the symptoms of that type of breast cancer is the crinkling or the dimpling of the skin in the breast. So if you notice the skin is starting to change on your breast, get that checked out. Another symptom that I learned about for lobular cancer is that it will start to enlarge the breast. Like the breast will still feel the same, but it will become bigger. And one thing that I noticed is that over the course of, having 3 babies, I noticed that my left breast was, I won't say significantly bigger than the right, but it was bigger. Skylar was definitely bigger than Tyler. Yes, they had names, okay? So I did notice that. So in hindsight, maybe that was my symptom. But for everything else, I didn't have any symptoms. There was no discharge. There was no bleeding. There was, I don't know, I felt fine. So the weirdness of it all is that you get diagnosed and they tell you have these crazy killer cells inside of you, okay? They're invasive, they're growing, they're this, they're that. Yet I felt fine. I was fine. I felt fine. And so now you go through surgery and they take all those crazy cells out. In my case, because it was caught early, they were able to get really great margins and take out everything. Take it out, and the lymph nodes as well. And so now that the cancer is in essence out of my body, now the visible representation of the illness is starting to manifest. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my brain. But it's like when the illness was in my body, I felt fine. I had no issues. But now once that the illness, in essence, has been taken out of my body, now is when you can visibly see that I am sick, that I'm going through something. I've got the scars from the surgery. My left arm, I need to start doing some physical therapy because I can tell that I have cording. And if you're like, what's cording? Maybe I'll insert a picture. Because they took out lymph nodes, now there's like a tightening in my armpit that I have to start working it out, because literally now I can't raise my arm far. My right arm is starting to go up pretty far, which is cool. My range of motion is coming back. I'm 80% with my right arm. The left arm, it is maybe 50%. It's struggling and I can't lift it because I can feel there's a cable in my arm that's just hard. So I've got that. And now next week I meet with the oncologists to discuss treatment. So now that the cancer is out, I still have to be treated for it, because the fact that it reached at least 1 out of 2 lymph nodes, I have to have radiation and maybe chemo. I'm just like, Lord Jesus, please, no chemo. If I have to do it, I'll do it. But I really don't want to. So it's going through radiation, I'm going to experience a lot of exhaustion and fatigue, sunburn, quite possibly to the skin, tenderness. They say even after treatment, the exhaustion will last 2 weeks for some people post-treatment, sometimes a month post-treatment. There was someone that a physical therapist that I follow on YouTube, and she was saying, listen, when you're done with cancer treatment, I know a lot of people want to celebrate and go on a vacation and do this. They were hold off on that a little bit, just for a little bit, because even though you are done with your radiation, even though you are done with your chemo, your body is still adjusting to getting back to normal. So don't be oh, I'm gonna ring the bell on Monday and then I'm gonna be on a plane to Aruba on Wednesday. They were maybe book your trip to Aruba maybe 2 or 3 months later. Does that make sense? So I've just been thinking, and it's just that's been bothering me. Not bothering me, but just it's been weighing heavy on my mind. It's when the illness was in me, I was fine. And now the illness has been taken out of me, but because I have to go through the treatments, and I guess the residual effect of, recovery and whatnot, now is when that visual representation of she's sick, or she has cancer, she had cancer, I don't know, it's just weird. It's the weirdness of cancer. This is definitely the weirdest place I have ever been in mentally in my life. So the good thing is there's always a silver lining, friends. There's always a silver lining. Good thing is, now that I am on the other side of surgery, now I have a new nurse navigator, an oncology navigator. And you're like, what's a navigator? So when you get diagnosed with like craziness like cancer, it's a lot of information, and it's a care team of a lot of doctors and a lot of nurses. And so it's hard to kind of coordinate all your appointments and all the information that you're getting from the left and from the right and from the top and from the bottom, and you're just like, freaking out. And so they assign you a navigator, a nurse navigator, and this is the person that books all of your appointments for you. And they just start appearing in your portal. They're the ones that reach out to you, and they call you and, hi, or just, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You've got an appointment scheduled for yada, yada day, whatever. So they do that. So now I've gotten past the surgery. So now I have an oncology nurse navigator. And she called me, she set up all my appointments for the oncologists that I see next week, and she hooked me up with therapists that are going to be reaching out to me this week that deal with the emotional aspect of cancer. And she also gave me an awesome resource, and it's different support groups, virtual, online, and they meet, and there are different support groups. Like, some are just general cancer or general breast cancer. Others are a support group for women with lobular breast cancer, or a support group for women with ductal carcinoma, or a support group for women with ovarian, and excuse me, not just women. Let's scratch that. Yes, women can only get ovarian cancer because men don't have ovaries, but in terms of breast cancer, men can get breast cancer. Yes, they can. Okay, so for people with breast cancer. So something else that I learned that I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Again, like there's always a silver lining. Apparently, like, because I'm considered a breast cancer survivor, I don't feel like I'm a survivor just yet, but I guess I am. I don't know, whatever. Weirdness of cancer, weirdness. They offer you different, like, free subscriptions. So because I've survived cancer, I get 12 weeks of a free membership at a YMCA. And I'm also eligible for like 16 one-on-one personal training sessions. And I'm like, for free. Wow. Pretty darn cool. So I'm going to be looking into that real soon. Once my plastic surgeon gives me the green light to start, exercising, because this whole limited range of mobility is not fun. Okay, so there you had it, the weirdness of cancer. I'm going to be uploading some more videos. I had someone ask me a question about breast tissue expanders, because I did talk about that, and sometimes I forget, like, not everybody knows cancer culture terms, because you're not in the BCC. Okay, but I am going to upload another video just talking a little bit more in depth about breast tissue expanders, because not everybody has to get them. Okay, it's just something I chose. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.